this is Ektar and welcome to episode 4 of our Digimon Tamers Review series. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at the US Digivolving Leomon to SaberLeomon figure. This episode was only made possible by Emma. It's thanks to her that I was able to acquire this figure for review. Leomon is a rather iconic and beloved Digimon character, being present in almost all iterations of the franchise, and this figure is a great representation of the character. All things considered, the Leomon mode is pretty darn stellar. He looks extremely accurate and they nailed a ton of the details, including the differently designed arms, the pens, the tail, the mane, so on and so forth. The only lacking paint that I noticed would be the belt strap and scars, both of which I at least molded in. The articulation is also decent, well, for a figure in this line. The arms can go all the way around. There is a 90-degree elbow bend. It can rotate above the elbow, it can rotate below the elbow. As for the legs, they can move forwards, they can move back. There is a knee bend, and the feet can also swivel from left to right. Not sure if this counts, but the tail can swivel all the way around. Sadly, there is no in and out articulation for the arms or legs, neither is there a waist joint. Due to the design of the mane and the transformation, any kind of head articulation would just not have been possible, so that's completely understandable. Kibble is also pretty much non-existent, being limited to SaberLeomon's mane and stripes on Leomon's back. Last but not least, he does come with an accessory, his sword and sheath. They can plug into his back, and of course, he can hold the sword in his left hand. Seeing how this is Leomon's signature weapon, it would have been a horrendous shame if he didn't come with it, and I'm glad to say they didn't disappoint. The thing is, this accessory is really easy to lose, and most second-hand Leomon figures for sale on eBay don't come with this accessory. In fact, I'd say that most of the value of the figure is in this accessory. If you don't mind him not coming with his sword and sheath, you can get him for really cheap. In conclusion, if you're looking for a great Leomon figure that scales well with the rest of your collection, regardless of season, definitely pick this guy up. So, there's Ektar saying, see you guys in the next episode of our Digimon Tamers series of reviews. What? He has a second mode, you say? Oh, come on, must we? Very well. Yes, this figure, being a Digivolving figure, has a second mode. So let's just get it over with and take a look at his SaberLeomon mode. Oh boy. We first take his accessory and leave it off to the side. Unpack this back panel, pull it out, rotate it around, and just lie it back down. It doesn't even peg in. Take his forearms, carefully open them up, and swing out SaberLeomon's claws while folding in Leomon's fists. Pull back the mane and fold down the front of the figure. Take his broken face and we'll just leave it off to the side for now. Close the figure back up and return this mane to this slightly reclined position. Unfold SaberLeomon's mane from the back. And peg them all together. Take the face, thread the hinges through the mane, and peg it into place. Fold this entire section forwards, and position his arms and legs. And don't forget to spread out his main pieces. This mode is absolute garbage. In fact, I'd even argue that this SaberLeomon mode is a strong contender for the worst mode in the line. So, where on earth do we begin? Can we first start off with the simple fact that this abomination looks nothing like SaberLeomon? It's Leomon on all fours with SaberLeomon's fangs, front paws, mane, and back stripes, with a horrendously elongated head. That's it. It's Leomon cosplaying as SaberLeomon, and doing a rather bad job at it. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, oh boy, it gets much worse, because as you might have noticed during the transformation, this figure is brittle as hell. Rather fitting for a Leomon figure, as unfortunate as that is. I don't know if it's a problem with the plastic mix a la GPS, or something wrong with the design of the figure, or a combination of the two. but the hinges holding Leomon's head and SaberLeomon's paws in place are pretty much guaranteed to break if they aren't already broken in the package. I mean, just look at all of these cracked hinges and broken pegs. I am dead serious. If you own an unbroken copy of this figure, it's pretty much rarer than hen's teeth. There are a couple of saving graces though. Firstly, in most cases, these breaks are 100% fixable. Emma has done a lovely job of gluing the paws in place beforehand, and they are still holding up great. Thanks a lot. Secondly, after fixing, these breaks don't affect the integrity of the transformation. Even though the face is no longer attached to the body, it doesn't rely on those sets of hinges in either mode. And yes, speaking of modes, finally and most fortunately, the Leomon mode isn't affected in the slightest. So why on earth is this SaberLeomon mode so crap? My suspicion is that this SaberLeomon mode was shoehorned in just so that they could build him as a Digivolving figure. Not that I'm complaining, as we did manage to get a really nice Leomon figure out of it. In fact, one of the reasons I think they didn't even bother with this SaberLeomon mode was so that the Leomon mode would be as unsullied as possible. Seriously, all you have to do is to detach these main pieces and you pretty much have a perfect Leomon figure. Seeing how Leomon only turned into SaberLeomon in Adventure, he's still going to be a great addition to pretty much any Digimon related display regardless. So in conclusion, for real this time, while this figure might have the honor of having the worst mode in the line, because of the amazing Leomon mode, it's far from being the worst overall figure. For that, you'll just have to wait for the next episode of our Digimon Tamers series of reviews.